Hi, everyone, and welcome to the top 10 strategies for marketing your business on LinkedIn. If that was the presentation you were expecting today, you're in the right place, and we'll get started here in just a couple of minutes, okay? Thank you. Hi, everybody. Welcome again to the top 10 strategies for marketing your business on LinkedIn. We've still got a number of people joining us here, so we're going to give it one more minute. So now's a great time if you have any last minute emails you need to finish up or need to go grab a drink of water. Please feel free to go ahead and do so, and we'll get started here in just another minute. Thank you. Okay, everybody, welcome again to the top 10 strategies for marketing your business on LinkedIn. Let's go ahead and get rolling here. A couple of logistics before we get started with the presentation. One, just want to let you know that I will be recording this, and we'll get you out a replay of that recording here in the next 24 or 48 hours or so. So you can just sit back and relax. You'll have access to all this information. Also, just want to let you know that there's a question box below the presentation there. If you have any questions during the presentation, please go ahead and submit them in that box. I won't stop during the presentation just to make sure we get through everything today. But at the end of the presentation, I will take questions. And if for some reason I can't answer it today, I'll get back to you here in just the next couple of days, personally, either myself or somebody from my team, to make sure we follow up with you. Finally, on the image of the presentation itself, if you hover over it, with your mouse, you'll see a little icon pop up on the lower right-hand portion of the image of the presentation there. If you click on that, you can watch the presentation in full screen mode. So if that's easier for you, go ahead and do that, and you can just hit the escape key at any time, and that will bring you back to the view that you are currently in. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here again with the top 10 strategies for marketing your business on LinkedIn. In today's presentation, we're going to cover why you need to pay attention to LinkedIn, how to use LinkedIn to grow your business, and then key takeaways and questions. So why you need to pay attention to LinkedIn, this kind of sums it up here, this graph that shows the incredible growth that LinkedIn has experienced since its founding in 2003-2004 time period. And what's amazing is if you look at the growth from 2011 to 2012, they grew by 50 million visitors. That was their biggest growth of any one-year period. So things are not slowing down for LinkedIn. It continues to generate a tremendous amount of momentum. And in fact, in this last year, it passed 200 million active members in the community, which is really just quite incredible. I mean, when you consider that there's slightly more than 250 million or so people living in the United States, roughly. LinkedIn is now one of the larger countries in the world. So pretty incredible growth, and certainly worth paying attention to at your business. The other thing that's unique about LinkedIn compared to the other social networks that are out there like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and things like that is that LinkedIn has an exclusively professional image, right? It is the professional or business social networking site. That is the expectation that people have of LinkedIn. So you're not going to find pictures of people's cats and babies and goofy videos and things like that on LinkedIn. It is a professional environment, and will always stay that way. The other very important thing about LinkedIn is that there is an openness inside of LinkedIn for people to create new professional contacts and new relationships. It's kind of a safe way of doing networking. It's a safe way of establishing some new contacts and getting some new introductions. And people are very receptive to that on LinkedIn. And then finally, by having a well-optimized profile on LinkedIn, you can generate a lot of visibility and website traffic. So you can see here I just did a search for Denver financial planners and limited the results to financial planners in the greater Denver area. You can see down here by this checkbox. And you can see that this gentleman, Tyler Morris, comes up on top. And has some sort of portfolio investment research at Lighthouse and a financial services business. And you can actually see down here below, Laura is actually in service leadership and sales excellence at a computer and network security business. Dan is in marketing and advertising. Lori is marketing and advertising. What this says to me is that Tyler is the only person that has actually optimized his profile well to make sure that when people go into LinkedIn and search for Denver financial planners, he shows up. So there's a lot of financial planners here that are missing out a lot of visibility and traffic, as well as the search engines are big fans of LinkedIn and LinkedIn profiles. So by having a really well optimized LinkedIn profile, you can also get that profile to rank really well in the search engines and get you a lot of visibility that way as well. So those are the handful of key reasons to really pay attention and invest in LinkedIn for yourself personally and for your business. Now let's dive into the top 10 strategies on how to take full advantage of LinkedIn at your business. So the first one is to get a company page on LinkedIn. And I find that a lot of businesses don't even know that you can have a company page on LinkedIn. And a lot of people ask me, well, how is a company page different from my personal profile that I have on LinkedIn? So you can see this is an example of a personal LinkedIn profile, and I figured who better to look at here to show as a case study than the CEO of LinkedIn. So this is the profile of the CEO at LinkedIn, and you can see that this profile is all about him personally, right? And that's what you have probably experienced in LinkedIn. You have your personal profile where you put information about you and the positions you've had and the business you're in and things like that, where you went to school, all that good stuff. So that's a personal profile. And then this is the company profile for LinkedIn, or the company page for LinkedIn. So you can see here, again, the red arrow there, that's pointing to the fact that this is a page for LinkedIn, the company itself. And there are, some significant differences here to point out. So this company page is designed essentially like another website, but inside of LinkedIn. So it's almost like you have a second website for your business inside of LinkedIn. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, again, going back to the benefits that I mentioned before in terms of why you'd want to pay attention to LinkedIn, this is a fantastic way to get exposure for your company, for the people that work at your company, for the products and services that you're producing, and for any career opportunities that you may have available for your business, and also just establishing new vendor and potential customer and partner relationships. So you can see here some of the big differences on this company page that make it, like I said, more like a whole new website. As you can see here, you've got this site navigation up here, where similar to a website, you have the home page, careers, products and services, and insights. You can choose your site image. So you can put whatever image that you want up here. You could have a picture of your products or services or your office or your team, and can certainly rotate that out frequently. Down here you have company posts. This acts very similar to a blog on your company website, but it's inside of LinkedIn. And then over here you can see how me doing the search, how I'm connected to people at LinkedIn. So in this case, I don't have any direct connections. You can see everybody's at the second level, which means I have connections that have connections at LinkedIn. Right? So again, this is like a entire additional website inside of LinkedIn. So, well, why do you need one? One is to make sure that you have a good place inside of LinkedIn to tell your company's story. There will be personal profiles that reference your company inside of LinkedIn, so your employees and things like that work at your company could have your company mentioned in their personal profile. But there's no depth to that. It really just says, this is the company that I worked at. Well, this is your opportunity to really tell your company's story, give the full background, highlight your products and services, and then engage with followers. Particularly you'll see this around career opportunities and using your LinkedIn company page as an opportunity to recruit, but it's also a great way to find and build relationships with new vendors and new partners. So it's pretty critical nowadays that a company actually has a page inside of LinkedIn, in particular if you are trying to do any sort of recruiting at a significant scale. All right, number 2, make sure your profiles are complete and optimized. Okay, if you've been inside of LinkedIn much, you'll see that LinkedIn actually does a good job of telling you when you have not completed your profile here. So you can see this little box is telling me 25% profile completeness, and then it gives me some profile completion tips and tells me the areas that I really need to work on. So I need to add a position, a place that I have worked, a job that I've had. I need to add my educational background, right? Add a picture, add a summary of me and what I'm all about, any specialties that I have in terms of particular skill sets or talents, and then also get recommendations from people that I've worked with in the past that would be willing to endorse me in the work that I've done. So if I were to do all of those things, then I would start to get a nice complete profile. Now over here are some additional things that LinkedIn has rolled out more recently of things that you can also add to your profile. So you've got the experience, the summary. Here are any significant projects you've worked on, languages that you know, publications that you're a part of, test scores, courses you've taken, patents, certification, and volunteering and causes. So you can see that if you complete this profile, you start to have a pretty darn good picture of the things that you've done in your career. And people will easily be able to come and learn a great deal about you, which is the objective of LinkedIn, right? They want you to share as much of your professional information so that other people inside of LinkedIn will find it valuable to use LinkedIn as a source for finding good people to connect with. So